All right. Good morning. If it is morning where you are, may not be, but it is here where I'm at, afternoonish. So, welcome to another edition of STATURDAY Chat Live here on November 6th, 2021. It's so good to see so many of you all stopping by the live stream today. If you are new here or maybe haven't come back in a while, just kind of the ground rules of how we do this. So I try to keep the stream around 30 minutes. It usually goes longer than that, but I try to keep it compact because I know I have things to do today and you have things to do today. And, I'm not going to sit here and blab and just, take up your time. So we'll keep it around 30 minutes. Sometimes it goes a little bit longer. So obviously, if you're on LinkedIn or on YouTube, which I guess is the only place you could be, feel free to put things into the chat and I will monitor it sort of as we go. And I will answer whatever questions I can. I may not get to every question because sometimes there are too many. Sometimes I don't know the answer right away because I'm not like human Wikipedia or anything. So usually I can write things down and maybe get back to you at some point. The best place to get a hold of me is actually on LinkedIn. So you can message me there, connect with me there, whatever else it might be. So I will do my best to answer the question. If I don't answer your question, don't take it personally because that's not the way I work. It's just a matter of time and all the things we want to sort of get to. So if you are on YouTube, I do accept super chats. So a few dollars helps the channel here and there. I mainly use all of those funds to professionally close caption all the videos because I know I have many viewers who are not native English speakers, many viewers from overseas. So I go ahead and have the videos professionally captioned so they can be watched by those individuals or people who watch the videos in a place where they can't have the sound on and they use the caption. So maybe on the subway or maybe in, some other environment where they can't have sound, I get them captioned. So if you can drop a couple dollars in the super chat, I appreciate it. If not, that's completely fine. I don't expect anyone to be required to do that. I also, many people don't know this, but I do have merch on my channel. So I do have some merchandise. There's some funny, kind of fun stuff. So I'm wearing one right now. We'll see if you can get it. Get it? So I just have some funny designs I came up with on the channel. If you want to, I don't think they ship everywhere in the world, but it's just another way to raise a few dollars for the channel if you don't mind. So, all right, who we got here and what is going on? I'll bring up some of the comments in the chat here in a second. So a couple of updates on the channel. So I'm in the middle of a playlist on variable transformations. So ways to take a distribution that is skewed and make it more normal, and to make it right skewed if it's left skewed, and things like that. So I'm going to continue to work through those videos. I have several more to go on that playlist, and it's actually become very interesting. I really like doing that playlist. It's not something people take advantage of a whole lot, just knowing that you can transform variables to fit the assumptions of regression, and that's it. Nothing else. Just change the variables to fit the assumptions of regression, and that ends up reducing the prediction error and makes the model stronger. So, just by doing a transformation, which is really cool. So I've got 3 videos in that playlist I'm currently working on. So if you haven't seen those, please go back and check those out. And actually, after the live stream today, I'm going to put on my warm clothes and go up to the coffee shop and start working on the next one. So that's what I do on the weekends. So a few more updates, but I do want to get to the chat here. Glenn says, "Hey, thank you, Glenn, for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that." So just $5 turns into 4 minutes of captions on a video. That's how it works. So that pays for almost an entire video's caption, or at least about half. So Glenn, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it a whole lot, my friend. I'm glad to see you here again. All right. What else we got going on? John, good evening here. And Kashmir, hello. Thank you for stopping by. It's awesome. Awesome. Larry, the man, the Larinator. It's good to see you, buddy. I do want to shout out to Larry while everyone is here. So Larry has made the step to do some live streaming. on his channel and things like that, where he walks through detailed examples, business case type things. And, he's like, it's hard. Look, starting the live stream is really hard. Like my first YouTube videos were flaming bags of crap, and my first live streams weren't very good either. So it just takes time to, learn sort of the rhythm of it and get used to talking to a camera and things like that. And Larry is doing a great job at, getting going on the live streaming and getting better sort of each time, bit by bit, and having the courage to take the step to even do it. So Larry, good job, buddy. I'm really proud of you, and keep up the work on your channel and your live streams, and you will continue to get better and better. And of course, I'm always here as a resource if you need me, if there's anything I can help with, of course. So, all right. I do want to say happy Diwali to anyone who is celebrating. So that is the festival of lights in certain parts of the world, in Hindi parts of the world. So it is about the celebration of light over darkness. And, I see it as, kindness over evil, and things like that too. So happy Diwali to everyone who is celebrating, and, light a candle, light some candles, and celebrate the power of light. So what else we got going on? Okay, namaste. All right. And Kathmandu. Wow. I would love to go to Kathmandu. I'm sure I'm saying the English way, but I'd love to go there. That's one of the craziest airports to fly into, but it would be so beautiful, a place in the world to go. So, all right, what's we got going on? Okay. Yoga, yeah. All right. Glenn, thanks for your assistance. I finished Stat 2 with a final score of 998 out of 1,000. So everybody, give Glenn a little clap. Go Glenn. Say something to Glenn in the chat there. That is awesome. Now, Glenn, you did the hard work, my friend. So, kudos to you. Do something nice for yourself, and, celebrate that accomplishment. We should always celebrate our accomplishments. We should never let anyone minimize our accomplishments because they become too used to them. So, celebrate the wins. They don't come very often necessarily in life. So when you get a good win like that, do something nice for yourself. Okay. So, okay, Kashmir. All right. What else we got going on? Suresh says the channel is very good. Oh, and by the way, thank you, Suresh, for stopping by. If you didn't get, I mentioned my merch before. If you didn't get it, see, train, test, split. Train, test, split. So it's a very corny design, but but I came up with it on my own, which is why it's corny. Okay, what else we got? John, hello. Thanks for stopping by, John. Good to see you. Larry, you're very welcome, my friend. Keep it up. Just keep trucking. You get better and better as it goes. All right. Suresh, Julie says, congrats, Glenn. Absolutely. So, Glenn, again, congratulations on that amazing 998 out of 1,000. To me, that's just a perfect score. So that's 1,000 out of 1,000 in my book. So, yeah. So happy Diwali to you too. You are very welcome. I just bought a new candle, actually. I'm going to light that tonight. It's actually it's a candle that smells like a fireplace, and it also crackles. So it sounds like a fireplace and smells like a fireplace. So tonight I'm going to sit in my chair behind me. Can't see it because of the backdrop, but sit in my chair and read and light my candle. So, all right. What else we got going on here? Let's see here. Denton says, I have trouble with comparing two population means to figure out statistically significant changes and statistical power. What would you recommend as a good way to go about learning it? I have videos on this. So I have several videos, obviously, on comparing two population means. So, a z-test would be, if you know the population standard deviation. We usually don't, so we go with the t-test. And then for statistical power, you kind of work backwards and figure out the sample size you would need to ascertain a certain power. So instead of sort of finding the significance or whatever, and it comes out to whatever, what you can do is set the significance at a point you want it to be, and then figure out what sample size would give you that statistical power. So I do have videos on that. You can go back and watch those. I want to say it's playlist 8, 9-ish, somewhere in there, about statistical power and beta and things like that. So yeah, so obviously my channel, and then there are many other resources out there you could consult around the ideas of comparing population means, figuring out the statistical significance, and or setting the alpha ahead of time, and then figuring out the sample size you need to ascertain that. Of course, in general, to get a smaller significance sort of level, then you increase the sample size because it narrows the standard error. Okay, what else we got? All right, Sanchoy, I hope I'm saying that right. Again, I know I have many viewers from different parts of the world, and I do my best to pronounce everyone's names correctly. If I do not, I sincerely apologize. I do my best because I sincerely believe everyone should be called by their actual name, even if I butcher it once or twice. So if I say it wrong, let me know, but I do my best. Sanchoy says, your videos are so helpful. Please make a video on autocorrelation and multicollinearity. So I do have videos on multicollinearity, but not in the maybe context you're referring to, which would be time series applications. I have multicollinearity and other videos in multiple regression. So you can check those out. But if you're referring to time series, I have not done those yet. However, time series is one of the top topics I hope to do some more videos on. I'm waiting for some other things to fall into place before I start that new playlist. But I do plan on doing a series on time series. So autocorrelation, multicollinearity, and seasonality and trends and all that kind of stuff that are in time series. So I may have some of those, but not necessarily, unfortunately, in the context you're referring to, but maybe some of those will help. All right. Okay, what else we got going on? What's going on? Matthew, hello. Thanks for stopping by. Currently working on the stats for my thesis project. Thank you for your videos. You are very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm glad the channel is there to help you in your thesis project. You're the one doing all the hard work, and people like me just give you the tools that you have to go out and find. And a lot of people don't make that effort. So just going out and finding what you need to get the help you need and putting the time in to learn it is most of the battle. So congratulations to you for just going out and doing the work, Matthew. So I'd love to know more about your thesis, maybe if it's something that I might be interested in, which I'm interested in a lot. So I'd be happy to read it sometime if you don't mind. Okay, what else we got? Thank you. You are very welcome. Glenn says, I'm working on forming a study group to look at Python libraries for statistics. Any idea on the best way to find 4 or 5 people interested in deep diving the various libraries? So this is a good place, of course. So there might be a few people in the chat or, listening in that might be interested in collaborating with you on that. Probably the second best place would be LinkedIn. Obviously, there are many groups that are formed or based around these ideas. That's a great place to start. You can join those groups if you're on there, which I'm pretty sure you are. And just go into those groups or post about it on there, and people will share it. And you'll probably have no problem finding 4 or 5 people to collaborate with on something like that, depending on the workload and the time that would go into it and things like that. But I think LinkedIn is probably the best place, I would say, to do that. All right. So yeah, Larry says, try LinkedIn post. Absolutely. And if there are some people that you already know on LinkedIn, better than a casual acquaintance that you've talked to before, just message them and say, hey, would you like to work on this? Or do you know other people that might like to work on something like this? And they can put you in contact with with people who do. So that's a good place to start. I think LinkedIn is probably the best place to start, sort of for something along those lines, I would think. All right. What else is going on? Comments, questions, everything else, please drop them in the chat. I'm going to grab a drink of water because it is pretty dry where I'm at here. It's very dry. We haven't had rain in like a week, and it's not supposed to rain for another week. So, yeah, throat's a bit dry, but doing my best. All right, so Jalapathy says, I'm a beginner to learn stats. Can I follow same playlist order in this channel? Absolutely. So, I'm so sorry. Like I said, it's very dry. So the answer is yes. The playlists on my channel are meant to be in order, topically in order, if you wanted to start from the very beginning and just go through them. So playlist 2 all the way through, 3 all the way through, 4 all the way through, so on and so forth. On my website, I do have on my website, I have like a table of contents that links to each playlist. It's a little bit easier to find, maybe. So bcfoltz.com/blog. So I maybe put that in here. There we go. So there, I have them all listed out in like a table of contents. It makes them a bit easier to find. But yes, they are meant to be viewed sequentially, probably up through playlist, I don't know, 17-ish. And then from there, it kind of branches off into little niche areas and different topics. But you would still need to understand, most likely, everything before that to get those. So yeah. So also on that, also my little website there, it's not a whole lot there, but you can find the table of contents to all my playlists. Like I said, they're on there. I do have the PDFs available if you want to purchase those for certain more popular playlists. So the regression, and I think the hypothesis testing. People have always asked for the slides for my videos. So I'm not going to just hand those out. But what I did do is make sort of PDF study guides of those that have the slides and then note-taking areas and then the transcript, the whole transcript for the video in there. And like for the entire playlist, it's less than $20. It's hundreds of pages. So that's another way to support the channel, and you get something in return, is to go there, pick up the PDF study guide for those certain playlists, and you have a hundreds and hundreds of page PDF with the slides on the top, note-taking area, the transcript you can follow along with. It's fantastic. It's what everyone's always wanted. So you can find those there. I think I have 4 playlists up there. What I did is I made PDF study guides for the playlists that are by far the most popular. So like linear regression, multiple regression, logistic regression. I'm pretty sure the 4th one is hypothesis testing. I'm pretty sure that's it. So I have PDF study guides for those. If you buy all 4 at once, it's even a bit cheaper. So again, that goes to helping me run the channel, and helps you too, because you get like a big study guide based out of it. So those are also on my blog as well. All right. VFlow says hello. Hello all. VFlow, good to see you again. Let's see here. Glenn, just curious, what instrument did you play? My musical background is a long and varied one. Technically speaking, Glenn, the first instrument I ever played was my mother's Tupperware, and I used it to make a drum set. So I had all the Tupperware. So Tupperware, if you're not familiar with Tupperware, it's like plastic containers you put food in. Very popular when I was a kid, like back in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. I'm not sure how it is now, but anyway, really nice stuff. And I put them out in front of me like a drum set. So the smaller ones had a higher pitch and the bigger ones had a lower pitch. And then the cake Tupperware was my bass drum. And I would play along to songs using sticks or maybe silverware and Tupperware drum set. That's a true story, by the way. And that was my first real instrument, I guess. And then, so I was a drummer, I guess, first. But this is a very weird story to tell on this live stream, but Glenn asked, so I'll tell you. Then in middle school, we had so many drummers, as you would guess. The band director had me try out different instruments, and he put a baritone euphonium against my face and told me what to do. And I buzzed my lips, and out came a perfect note. Just perfect note. And he said, "Give me your drumsticks." And that was the end of my drumming career. And from then on, I played baritone euphonium. I played sousaphone tuba. And then in drum corps, I played baritone as well. So I've been a lower brass player back in the day. But I've also fooled around with like guitars and, stuff like that. But so yeah, I have a musical background if you didn't know that. All right. Okay. Thank you. You are very welcome. Essentially, you are very welcome. Yeah. Spread the love out to Glenn. Absolutely. Thanks, Julie. Oh, there we go. So Matthew says, my thesis is looking at how Daphnia, I think it is, water fleas' size and movement rates change when they eat toxic algae from algal blooms. Hopefully the research can be used to mitigate algal blooms in the future. Excellent. See, it's great, one, seeing someone work on their thesis and seeing how the things we learn and study actually get used out in the real world to try to solve a problem or learn something. So that's a really cool thesis topic, and especially in nowadays, with all the environmental concerns we have to deal with. So absolutely, that is really cool. So yeah, if you have something you're working on, put it in the chat. Let us know what you're working on. Doesn't have to be a thesis necessarily, but maybe a project or some sort of gig you're working on or a side hustle or whatever else. Put it in there, and we could talk about that and celebrate it. All right. So what else have we got going on here? Yep. So I'll catch up with the chat here in a second. So the next live stream will be in 2 weeks, which will be November 20th. Yep. Because I think the next weekend is Thanksgiving weekend here in the U.S. and other parts of the world too, I guess. But here it's our Thanksgiving holiday. So I will be with my family, which haven't really done a whole lot in the past 2 years. I mean, holidays have not been the same for obvious reasons. And looking forward to seeing some members of my family for some of our holidays. All right. What else do we got here? Look up here. Julie says, Glenn, if you have a local Code for America group, I found so many great connections through Code for Philly, which I assume, Julie, is near Philadelphia. That is really cool. Code for America. I'm going to write that down. Learn something new every day. Code for America. So Glenn, that's something you might want to check out to find some resources for the project you're working on sort of with Python. So, all right. Okay. Looking through the thing here. Let's see. So the answer to this one is no. Don't know how blocking the D2 receptor can change personality. I do not. That is not something I'm aware of, but it's interesting, and I might write that down to look it up. All right. Murtaza says, could you please throw light on the AIC, the Akike information criterion, and the BIC, which is the Bayesian information criterion? So I have done videos on this, and I think the last playlist I did. But basically, those are techniques to model build. So if you're building a regression model, it's best, the general axiom is to keep the model as simple as possible, yet explain the most variation in our dependent variable. So the AIC and the BIC, So the AIC information criterion, and the AICC is sort of a modified version of that. And the BIC, the Bayesian information criterion, are ways to basically, penalize is not really the right word in that case, but it's basically a way to simplify or choose the best model out of all models, out of all best subsets. So it's commonly used in best subsets regression. So if I have 5 variables in my regression model and I run a best subsets, it's going to run all the 1 variable models, all the 2 variable models, the 3 variable models, the 4 variable models, and the 5 variable models. And then we can use measures like the AIC and BIC to select the best model out of all of those models that are given in best subsets. And what it aims to do is choose the model that explains the most variation in a dependent variable while also being the simplest model. So it's really, really looking for the model that the AIC, there's another one called Mallows C, which you should, some of Mallows C_P, that you should look at as well in this sort of context. Mallows is a bit easier to interpret because the number you're looking for is the number of variables in the model. So let's say you have a 3 variable model, and in that case, I guess you're looking for the number 4. It's 3 plus 1. It's easier to interpret. The AIC and the BIC are a little bit harder to interpret. The numbers don't make as much intuitive sense. It's actually based on log likelihood, so it's a bit more complex as well. But in general, we use these measures to select the best model in best subsets regression. All right, that was an entire video summary in a few minutes, so sorry. But yeah, I have several videos on those, so you can go check those out on Murtaza. All right. So to thank you for making the stats videos. I've learned so much from your stats videos. I use your videos to supplement material to my textbook. Excellent. That's kind of what they're meant for. You know, my videos are not a replacement for a full textbook. They're not a replacement for just sitting on and doing a lot of homework problems, honestly, or doing a lot of other types of problems. But they're just meant to be a resource to help you along, and hopefully not only how to do things, but why we do them. You know, the rationale behind why we do these certain things. All right, continuing, your videos help me bridge the gap. My professor refuses to help understand the concepts. Sometimes that happens, you know, depending on where you are in the world and even within a certain country or whatever, the expectations for professors and faculty can be very challenging on the teaching front. So in a large research institution, usually, professors are not really judged on their teaching. Some of them don't teach at all. But teaching is not really the thing that they are measured on. It's obviously, you know, publish or perish, publications, grants, you know, service type things that they are really judged on for their tenure or whatever else. So sometimes the teaching can kind of fall to the side, you know, or it gets shuffled off to grad students, which is good because that gives grad students teaching experience. It gives them some income. It gives them, you know, work. So I think a lot of professors just really are under a lot of pressure to do a lot of things, and sometimes the teaching gets shuffled off. It's not always the case. Some of them don't want to teach, but there's a lot going on in academia. So, all right. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I did contribute to your Patreon. Well, I don't have a Patreon, so hopefully someone might want to check what that was. I don't have a Patreon, but if I did, well, thank you for that. I do have a PayPal tip jar, if that's what you're referring to. So on my YouTube header, in the header image, there's a little PayPal tip jar. So if you have a few bucks, you can toss in there. Again, that goes towards the videos and the channel. So, all right. Hey George, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, and BIC better. All right. So where are we going from here? It's almost the end. Well, it's November, of course. So we're getting into that sort of, if you're in school at least, that sort of meat part of the semester. So, you know, a lot of things are going to be coming up the next month or so. So I encourage you obviously to come to my channel if you need any help, but also if you know anyone else that needs any help in your school, or someone you know in your family that's in school or whatever else that needs some assistance on the stats front, obviously send them to the channel. I don't do this for glory or money or anything like that. I do it to help people. So if you know someone that needs some help, send them my way. And of course, not only my way, but you can send them to other YouTube channels, other resources as well, because a lot of us are just here to help. So during this sort of, midterm finals, second half of a semester type thing, send them over. All right. Do we need to follow any books, or only learning from videos is enough? I would say that depends on your end goal. So I think if you're taking a college course or something, more in depth like that, where you're trying to get college credit and you or someone's paying a lot of money for it, then you're probably wanting to supplement your textbook with videos and actually look at the textbook, and just as importantly, do the problems. I know it's very old fashioned, and some people nowadays just don't get it, I guess. But I learned, especially in math and everything, I learned everything in life that I've learned in math and things like that by just sitting down and hammering out dozens and dozens and dozens of problems. That's it. Just hammering through lots of problems. And what happens is a lot of the things in your mind becomes automatic. You do enough problems, you start to recognize patterns. You start to recognize procedures that become second nature, and you get faster, you get more accurate. So videos are great, but having a book to go along with it that also have some problems in it that you can work is really where a lot of learning takes place. So yes, I would say if it's a college course situation, you're going to want to have a book to read and do problems in. If you're just learning for casual information or to supplement something that you already feel okay with, then videos might just be enough. It just depends on the situation you find yourself in. All right. Learning stats to learn data science. Yeah. So I think in this case, you'd probably want to do a bit more than just videos. Pick up a used book or something else like that to have as a reference. I mean, anyone on this live stream knows I have an entire library of books right over here that I reach over and fall over and grab, that I keep around, for reference. So, so right now I keep these by me because I use them for references. They're great books. Applied regression analysis, right there. So I keep books around as reference, Okay. How are we doing on time? All right, we're doing good. Michael asks, Michael, good to see you. What are your thoughts on master black belt certification? I'm not certified in black belt. So I think this is probably an industry question. So if that certification will help you in your career, help you obtain a job or some other promotion, or has some other real world outcome benefit, I definitely say it's worth it, unless you're just learning it just for the sake of, learning it for the joy of learning. So if in your field that certification will get you or make you more likely to obtain a position or a promotion or some other thing, I think it's definitely worth it, especially if that certification process is, if it's been evaluated for being high quality. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word I'm looking for. So if that certification process has been accredited, there's my word, then it carries weight from from wherever you get it, then absolutely. So there are lots of programs out there that may or may not, be of high quality or not accredited or something like that. Then maybe I shy away from those. But if it is one that is known in your industry, a lot of people do and obtain, then it is worth it. It's kind of like the PNP certification for project management, which is a laborious, crazy long process, but it's like the gold standard, in that field. So if it's kind of the same thing in your field, then I say yes. I think it's absolutely worth it if the investment in time and money you'd put into it will give you dividends in return later on. Okay. All right. Glenn asks, what is a good first stats book? I'm glad you asked because I have the one I'm going to grab. Where's it at? Oh, there it is. Now, the disclaimer is that I work on this book. So, this is a good one. Oh, I'm going to grab this one. Hold on. Welcome to my life where I get up and walk around. By the way, merch. Train test split. Merch on my channel. All right. So, all right. Good first stats book. Disclaimer. My day job is to work on this book with our amazing team. Woo! Something just fell. So this is the book I have used for about a decade. You seen that? So the story of this book is that I picked up this book several editions ago in a used bookstore. I love the way it's written. It is so clearly written. There's no confusion. It's very concise. It's a big book, don't get me wrong, but it's written so well in terms of helping you understand. Well, fast forward like 5 years from when I first got this book, I now work on this book. So, it's my day job. And, it is the one I have always used. So if you like the way I teach and explain, this is the book you'll want to try to find because it aligns with my brain. Similarly, if you want more of the analytics sort of front, same authors, but this takes things a little bit deeper in analytics. Okay. So this is going to cover things, and I'm not here to push these books. I'm just here because people asked. There are other books too, but this goes into other things like predictive data mining, spreadsheet models, Monte Carlo, linear optimization. So this goes into some other topics you won't find in the stats book. But I would say if you put these together, you can find these used or whatever else, great things to have on your shelf because they're so well written and I teach like them, if you like the way I teach, obviously. So, all right. Okay, back to been lifting books all the way around. So those books I just put up, I think are very good. Daniel from Brazil, good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you. Yeah, Julie says, Michael, I think this is about the Six Sigma thing, I believe. Go back up here. Yeah. So Michael had asked thoughts on Master Black Belt certification. And Julie responded, Michael, look to see what careers you're looking to do and see if the job descriptions have the certification listed. Absolutely. That's kind of what I was trying to get at before, but Julie put it in a much more succinct way. Yeah. So look in job descriptions to see if that is a required certification or a highly encouraged certification to obtain whatever jobs you might be looking for. So, all right. Sorry, it's not Patreon. GoFundMe page, yes. I view the link list for your playlist 9 for stats. There's active. Thanks for your free videos. Absolutely. So yes, I do have a GoFundMe. I've had it up there for a while. It's just there for people who want to contribute over the years. And it's another way. So that the channel runs on donations. I get ad revenue from YouTube, but it's not anything that's really meaningful, especially after taxes and everything. It's negligible on the money I make off of YouTube just from the ad revenue. So I do rely on donations through GoFundMe, donations through my PayPal tip jar, the GoFundMe, and now my merch. So my merch on my channel. So check that out. So thank you. Thank you, Neil Rutgers Kid. Like it. All right. Yours should be split train test, maybe, but in the nomenclature, it's always written as train test split. From what I have seen, as a noun, it's the train test split, like it's describing the split, so train test split. But yeah, in the way the procedure goes, we split first. Okay. Are those two business stats books also good for biostats? Most statistics books cover the same content. If not all of them cover the same content. So while the books I held up take more of a business focus, the statistical techniques are universal. So whereas these books will use a business situation for problems and examples, another one I have, to give you another example. Hold on. Look, I'm over here. You all make me do like calisthenics to grab books every 2 weeks, which is fine. So this is not a biostats book, but I'm just trying to kind of make the point that there are a lot of statistics books that explain the same basic concepts, but the examples and the problems are flavored in the direction of a certain field. So there are great biostats books out there. This is a psych stats book. There's a business stats book. You have general stats books. They all cover the same basic things, but with different sort of emphasis on the discipline. Now, I will say that biostat probably has other topics in it maybe that don't exist in these books because of the nature of the discipline. Biological systems. So you might have like survival analysis and more population type things in there, population growth or decay, whatever else. But in general, all stats books cover the same core content. So really just find the one that explains it best to you. And then if you find a good biostats book, stick with that. If you find another type of stats book that's maybe another discipline but explains it well, have that, and then you can apply it to the biostats. So like, I have books on all kinds of different topics here. I mainly work in the business realm for stats, but I have, gen stat books. I have business stat books. I have biostat books. I have, I think there's one more over there somewhere. That's something else. So yeah, just find whatever works for you or ask around. Okay. Thank you once again. You are very, very welcome. Of course. You are very welcome. So I am working on some other things for the channel. I'm maybe hoping to bring on 1 or 2 sponsors to the channel here sometime soon. And you know me, I don't take on any people as a sponsor on the channel. I'm very, very, very particular about any sponsorships I do on the channel. You would not believe how many people contact me to want to sponsor things on my channel, and I say no. Because it's just not a good fit, or I can't really vet the company that well, or they lowball, honestly, what they're willing to offer for sponsorships. And for me, it's not worth alienating you all for something you're not interested in, or whatever else. So I'm very particular about that. But I think I might have 1 or 2 high quality sponsors coming on the channel, hopefully sometime here soon, working out the details, that are actually very well known, high quality, beneficial type sponsors, which will help obviously me out, run the channel. Running these channels, everybody, takes hundreds of hours. It is very time consuming to come up with the content. So the basic gist is that every minute of a video you see on my YouTube channel and others as well, for every minute of a video you see, it takes an hour to make it. So if you see a 15-minute video on my channel, it probably took me a total of 15 hours to create it. From research, taking notes, organizing everything, storyboarding it all out, putting it into the PowerPoint, putting all the graphics in there, running all the analyses, double checking everything, putting the graphics in, putting the animations in, recording it, editing it, uploading, all that stuff. For every minute it's about an hour per minute is what it generally comes out to. So, anything that can help with the channel is very, very helpful. It just takes a lot of time to do it to the quality I would want and other similar YouTubers want it. Anyone can throw crap up on YouTube. There's no barrier to entry really, but it takes time to do high quality content. And I just do the best I can with whatever time I have and whatever resources I have to work with. So, and sponsorships help that, but only if they are good sponsorships. So, and YouTubers all the time get all these emails with like, oh, we want to like develop merchandise for your channel or come into our MCN, which is a multi-channel network, or, sponsor this, scalp massager on your channel, which might be very nice, but it doesn't have anything to do with my channel. So I have to navigate all that in the context of having a full-time job and everything else. It just takes a lot of time, So I do the best I can. That's why I make videos in a playlist series on a topic, because it's much more efficient to run a topic out and then start a new topic and run that out. So that's kind of the way I do videos. All right, so we're getting close to an hour here. If you want to put any last minute questions, comments, thoughts, concerns in the chat, now is the time. All right, so did not mention the author of the books, so I'll hold them up again. So this one, you can see the authors at the top. So Anderson Sweeney Williams, Cam Cochran, Fry Ullman. This is also known as the ASW, Anderson Sweeney Williams series of stats books, ASW. They're not really doing a whole lot on the books now because they're older, but that's the author team, the Cam Cochran, Fry Ullman. And this is Cam Cochran, Fry Ullman. So Jeff Cam was at Wake Forest University. Jim Cochran is at Alabama. Mike Fry is at University of Cincinnati, down the road from me. And Jeff Ullman is at the University of Iowa. So here are the authors. So if you just put in Cam, C-A-M-M, you'll find these. All right. Okay. What else we got here? How would you explain very easily the likelihood theory? Oh, goodness. So, yeah, I'm not going to go into this right here. So Marco, I do apologize because of the time and everything else. But I think everyone understands the sort of the difference. Well, let's go a step backwards. So we tend to look at statistics through two lenses nowadays, frequentist and Bayesian. So frequentist is what a lot of us are familiar with, just sort of growing up. It's about, collecting data on populations and looking at, the statistics from those populations. So Bayesians look at statistics from the idea of probabilities and, prior probabilities and posterior probabilities and things like that. So likelihood is just a different way of looking at a similar problem in statistics. So I don't right now want to try to explain that on a live stream in real time. However, I do think one of the best videos that explains that is on StatQuest. So Josh has a great video on likelihood on StatQuest. I would refer you to go look at his explanation because it is fantastic. So just go to StatQuest, look up likelihood, and spend a few minutes watching that, and you'll have it down. So likelihood honestly is not the easiest thing to explain. It's one of those, you think it should be simple to explain, but it's actually not. Even though I think in our everyday lives, most of us think and act, we direct our actions as Bayesians. So it's interesting. It's an interesting debate. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just a different way of looking at this sort of same problem. So, I talked a lot without explaining it, I know, but for the sake of everyone else in the live stream and the sake of everything, I would just refer you to StatQuest, look at the likelihood video, and you'll have that there. All right. Thank you very much for your lectures. Are really helpful and engaging. Lots of love from India. Well, lots of love back to India. Everyone there, like I said at the top of the live stream, happy Diwali to everyone who is celebrating the Festival of Lights, and I will be lighting a candle tonight here at home to celebrate as well. All right. Thank you very much for your lectures. Vishal, you are very welcome. That I'm in physics this term. Texas from Cengage is our Brandon Foltz physics equivalent. I don't know. Well, I don't write physics books or do physics videos or anything like that. So I'm not exactly sure our physics authors. A big company like Cengage, like I work in decision sciences, so business analytics, operations management, supply chain, stuff like that, and on finance. So I don't always know the other disciplines and their authors and things like that. So unfortunately, I can't say. I know our physics product is very popular. It's actually in WebAssign. So, all right, what's we got going on? We're almost there. Marco, thank you. Yeah, sorry, but I couldn't answer that in more depth, but I definitely recommend going to the StatQuest channel and watching the likelihood video. Bflow says meteorology would be a great example of likelihood. Yes. And oddly enough, well, maybe not oddly enough, but on this, a lot of Bayesian statistics examples use weather because of that reason. Is it going to rain? Not going to rain. Play tennis? Not play tennis. That sort of thing. It can get confusing very quickly, unfortunately. So I've always wanted to do a playlist on like finite mathematics or linear algebra. Maybe a whole series on that. When I was at Indiana, and by the way, last weekend I was at Indiana University Bloomington, where I did some grad school, and it was an awesome weekend. Had a great time there. I love that place. It's in my heart and soul. I love Bloomington, Indiana. So when I was there, I tutored the M118, which is finite math. It's kind of like a weed out class for the business school in some ways. And I made as much, if not more money tutoring finite math than I did being an associate instructor. That's how much tutoring I did in finite math. So I have like 3 binders over here full of material to teach finite mathematics. And it's just waiting to be turned into a massive educational thing. It's just sitting there. It's right there. I'm looking at it. So I'd love one day to turn that into an entire like finite math 101 or something like that. Because I have all the stuff and I have the experience. So yeah, I just don't have the time necessarily. I have the material. It's right here, but just don't have the time quite yet to do that. Can only do one thing at a time. All right. So yeah, hard time finding help on that topic when I needed it. If you're talking about like Bayesian statistics and likelihood, yeah, it's the thing is, when you start getting into things like likelihood and other type things, depending on the context you're learning it in, it's very easy to quickly get involved in calculus. Obviously a lot of machine learning applications involve partial derivatives. So you get into stuff like that, and I've learned all that at some point in my life, but of course, you don't use things. They just kind of go to the back burner in your brain. And I could relearn them pretty quickly. And I know the basic concepts, but I just haven't had that material in a long time. So your brain can only just do so many things at once. And on the front burner, everything else is sort of in the back burner, even though it's still there and you learned it. But I would love to get back into some of that stuff. I really love learning it and knowing it. All right, a few more minutes. So speak now, chat now, or forever hold your peace, because we're about ready to wrap this up here in a couple minutes. But I just want to say, if some of you are out there, working on a thesis or working on a class, whatever, and you are struggling, I just want to encourage you to keep at it, to keep digging, keep working hard. A lot of people out there are struggling, but they don't make the effort to go find the help they need. They just kind of wallow. And if you're out there looking at videos, you're not doing that. And that can make all the difference, So oh, the air is so dry. It's 30% humidity in my house, 30%. So, so keep at it, go out and find the help you need, get the resources you need, and that'll make all the difference, So just keep at it. But my voice is getting ready to go because my mouth is dry. So I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank all of you all for stopping by in the live stream. We'll be live again in 2 weeks on the November 20th. And we'll pick up sort of where we left off, and we'll see where the channel is and see how you all are doing. And I do still want to do the special live stream when the channel crossed 250,000 subscribers. I wanted to bring some of you on to celebrate your wins, to celebrate some of your achievements, to celebrate some of your projects that you're doing, talk about those with everyone. It maybe not be live, but I might record it and then sort of show it. That way I can edit it down for conciseness. But I still want to do that at some point here this fall. I'm just working on the details of trying to, to get it all wrapped up. It might be something I do over sort of winter break, when all the madness of school is over and things kind of slow down somewhat. So, all right. So use of statistics in the field of finance, absolutely. Thinking of taking econometrics, absolutely. And next semester is a core subject, absolutely. So if you understand the basics of regression and you pair that with time series and some other topics, econometrics is a great sort of melding of the two. I have a great econometrics book I can't reach it, over there. I think it's called it's by Woolridge, econometrics book. So if you can find that econometrics book by Woolridge, grab a copy. It's great. I actually find it very interesting. Okay, so my scratchy voice is going to wrap this up. But again, thank you all for stopping by here on STATURDAY Chat Live. And I'll see you again in 2 weeks. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and light your candle and celebrate the light. I'll see you all soon. Take care, and bye-bye.